Hello, dear viewers. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and it's time for a death battle reaction. Cell versus Metal Sonic. Of course, always check out the original content before you check out this reaction video. Like, share, subscribe with the death battle community and all that great stuff. And then once you see the original video, come back and we'll watch this together. Have you watched it? Great. So, here's what I know about these characters. We have seen Metal Sonic on Death Battle quite a few times. As far back as Wily versus Dr. Eggman in, I want to say, Season 1. Then we saw him return as a standalone combatant in Zero versus Metal Sonic. Yeah, Zero versus Metal Sonic. And then we saw Dr. Eggman return in Eggman versus Bowser, and that was last season. And so this will be the fourth time we will have seen Metal Sonic. And I think I've learned quite a bit about him. I know he can adapt and copy and duplicate the powers and abilities of other characters, like the chaos control powers, and that's a real game-changing ability in the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Metal Sonic is designed to be superior to Sonic the Hedgehog, and one of my buddies at one of my jobs, he is a huge Metal Sonic fan. He loves this character, so I know who he would be rooting for in this particular death battle. Cell, on the other hand, he is also created, but this is our first time seeing Cell. He is a bio android, as it were. And has the ability to copy key techniques, like the Kamehameha, the instant transmission. And not going to lie, dear viewers, Cell, when he first debuted, and I first saw him on Toonami when I was maybe third grade, this guy scared the shit out of me. At least the first stage of him, because he had this tail that could just drain the life out of people, and it just scared the ever-loving pants off me. Of course, that's just his first form, and Perfect Cell, which is the one we're going with, and beyond, I believe there are other forms of Cell now, much like there are for Frieza. But it'll be interesting. I've seen a lot of Discord. I've seen a lot of chatter about this death battle and who people think will win. Going into this, I'm personally more familiar with Cell, but my money will be on Metal Sonic. If Metal Sonic is able to copy the key techniques of Cell, then Cell is really in trouble. Having said that, I think let's see what Death Battle has to say, and we will figure out who is going to come out on top in this death battle. No, not that one. Here we are.
Fight! Cell versus Metal Sonic.
Which copycat android is truly the...
Fight! Cell versus versus Metal Sonic.
Yeah, I
Which
know this is
copycat
going
android
probably
is
be,
truly the superior model?
animated by
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
Devil Artemis,
And it's
who
our job to analyze
actually
their
does
weapons, armor, and skills to
very
find out
good,
who would win a death battle.
impersonation of Cell.
There's a
Check out
monster
Team 4
stalking
Star
Ginger
in,
Town.
Devil
No
Artemis'
one who's seen
channel.
it has lived to tell
That
the tale.
that there
All it left behind
that ship scared me to death as a child. I was
their
like,
clothes.
what is this guy doing? doing
Something
to these people?
ate these people's insides, leaving only a shadow behind.
Some kind of creature driven only by the need to feed. Earth's new apex predator, the ultimate life form.
The Namekian Piccolo went to investigate this manslayer and discovered that it was intelligent. Its tail could unravel to absorb its hapless victims and add their energy to its wretched gestalt.
But the nightmare was only just beginning, because for its last trick, somehow this freak of nature knew the Kamehameha.
The mystery of this creature's origin was decades in the making. Years
Created
ago,
by
the
Red
world
Ribbon
was terrorized by the most
Ribbon
advanced
Army's,
paramilitary
Dr.
organization
Gero.
in history, the
Prioritized
Red Ribbon
Dragon Ball
Army.
primary
Until
canon
they got
anime
rocked
and
by this
manga.
little kung fu gremlin, Son Goku.
But Red Ribbon's dream of revenge lived on within their head scientist, Dr. Gero.
Gero.
Hiding away in his spooky cave laboratory, Gero would go to work studying the Z fighters from afar, learning everything there was to know about them.
And building a series of androids that would destroy his spiky-haired nemesis once and for all.
He made a ton of them. Infinite
super-
energy androids,
usually
key-absorbing
Cell from
androids,
the Dragon Ball
trucker head
Super,
androids, and even
superhero is a separate character from
ginger
Cell.
androids.
However,
So I'm
none of
guessing they're
Gero's
not going backwards
creations were
that way.
capable of matching that drive to improve that Goku and his fellow martial artists possessed.
Luckily, he had one more android left. A cute little booger so complex he'd take years after Gero's death to complete. Its name was Cell.
Born from a single cell, get it? This android possessed the genetic information of all the
Earthlings
greatest
say
warriors
in
that
the
had
Namekian.
battled on Earth, and when fully evolved, would become unstoppable.
And with their
Extremely annoying
DNA,
to
Cell
draw.
absorbed all their powers and techniques
Tournament.
too.
Common
And
among all of
Kermit
them is the
Frog.
power to manipulate ki, or the energy that exists
Again,
in all living
Devil
things,
Artemis.
and
Check
weaponize
it
it to
out.
fire energy blasts, fly at faster than light speeds, move things with telekinesis, and create force fields.
From the humans, Krillin and Tien, Cell knows the multiform technique, Destructo Disc, and the Tri-Beam, his extra special favorite. Oh, weird, I'm not seeing Chaozu on this list. Sorry, bud.
Is Chaozu human?
Oh.
Okay. Cell can fire the Death Beam, as
He's
well
a
as breathe in
Pokemon.
and travel through the vacuum of space with the alien genes of Frieza and his father.
And because he's got Piccolo's DNA,
He
Cell
can
can regenerate humongous damage to his body at the cost of some keys.
Cell has survived having half his body vaporized multiple times, and cannot be destroyed unless the small cluster of cells at the core of his being is eradicated.
Should that little bugger survive, Cell will always return, even stronger than before because of the Saiyan DNA he got from Goku and Vegeta. Definitely the cream of the genetic crop.
Sure, he can perfectly replicate attacks like the Gallic Gun, Spirit Bomb, and of course Kamehameha, as well as teleport by locking onto a living being's key signature.
But the best part of being a Saiyan is how much crazy stronger they get every time they almost die.
They can even evolve to become orders of magnitude stronger in the midst of battle. Combine that with Cell's healing factor, and he is effectively the ultimate warrior.
Like a perpetual shonen motion machine.
Driven by a biological imperative, Cell wanted nothing more than to devour Gero's previous androids, 17 and 18, believing it
Who
would
we've
make
seen
him
18 in the
perfect.
past.
Only one problem. The Cell we know was born in the future, and both 17 and 18 had been destroyed. So he murdered Trunks and went back in time. Not our Trunks, future Trunks. Well, not future Trunks, but another future
It's
Trunks. It's
confusing.
very complicated. There's like 5 timelines.
As Cell defeated and absorbed the androids, he evolved, not only getting stronger,
Larva,
but changing his
imperfect.
personality and developing a lust for battle.
He became less creepy bug serial killer and more, well, Saiyan. After exploiting that very Saiyan arrogance and
Yeah,
warrior's
Saiyan
pride,
pride.
Cell finally became perfect.
And easily dominated Trunks and Vegeta, the latter of whom had decades of battle experience under his belt.
Perfect Cell's power was off the charts. He could threaten the whole Earth just by powering up. With a full power Kamehameha, he was even capable of destroying our entire solar system.
While the vast majority of our solar system's mass is located in the sun, this still means that Cell's key wave would have to reach 2.8 billion miles to eradicate every planet.
But Wiz, maybe he was just exaggerating.
Not likely. Cell's claim has been backed up in multiple guidebooks and even demonstrated outright in the video games.
Cell's even stronger in the anime adaptation, considering the time Frieza blew up Namek. In the anime, the explosion was literally hundreds of light years wide and lit up the friggin' galaxy.
And Cell was far stronger than Frieza was at that point in time.
Hell, the Namekians could sense him all the way from a different galaxy and thought he might be a threat to the whole universe.
He's also incredibly fast, capable of blitzing even the strongest Z fighters at the time. Goku flew from Grand Kai's planet of heaven all the way to hell, hundreds of billions of light years in half a minute. And that was in his base form.
Yeah, that's cool, but how about the power to squeeze mini Cell Juniors out of your butt? Never heard of that key technique? Call it the Kegel.
Perfect Cell was entirely without peer and, no longer wedded to Giro's petty grudge, decided to prove it with a tournament.
The Cell Games! And if Goku couldn't even beat him, what hope did anyone else have? Vegeta couldn't even handle a Cell Jr.
Their last hope was Goku's own son,
Gohan.
After Cell arrogantly let him power up, Gohan unleashed his rage, pushed the bug monster to his absolute limits, and beat him. Wow, Cell, you really are related to Vegeta, aren't you?
In truth, Cell was a victim of his own success. The same Saiyan genes that made him all-powerful also sowed the seeds of his defeat.
He got so mad he even blew himself up. Maybe he does have some Chaozu in him after all.
Even that wasn't enough to totally put him down, and he came back with the same Super Saiyan power-up that Gohan had just unlocked.
Super perfect Cell! Now with more lightning, in a battle for the ages, Cell put the entire weight of his biological programming against one lone Saiyan and went the distance.
But in the end, it still wasn't enough. No matter how brilliantly Dr. Gero copied the Z-Fighters, he still couldn't quite figure out their knack for going beyond.
What can be destroyed can always be rebuilt. All it takes to recreate the most fearsome warrior in the universe is one single cell.
That's what I was thinking of.
Hey, real quick, did you know Death Metal launched our own tabletop gaming channel? It's called The Nightly Brew.
Oh.
We're doing Dungeons and Dragons, Blood on the Clock Tower, and a bunch of other stuff.
So that was
I'd
a
love
lot
if you could check
to
it
go
out.
over,
We
but
just
a lot
finished
of
our
it
campaign
I'm
through the
familiar
old school
with,
Tomb of
and I
Horrors, the most
definitely do
infamous
remember.
dungeon in D&D history. Here's a clip.
I don't know if
You quadruple in size.
I don't know if
and
what
bump
Metal Sonic
into
will be able
multiple
to,
of the
copy if
columns. There's
anything,
no way you can
but,
fit in this room without touching columns. So you begin floating up.
It's my
into
last
the air.
character.
But
As
that's just a
giant balloon
smorgasbord of powers like to duplicate.
drifts closer.
And I'll definitely give Metal Sonic maybe some pause, but I'm fairly certain Metal
when
Sonic
he gets
is
just a couple feet away from the
just
mouth,
way
soot
stronger,
just-
depending on which version we're getting.
You were like, "Oh, this dungeon's terrible. It's the
And I
most like
also think
everybody
that,
dies. It's the hardest thing." And I was
Metal
like,
Sonic
"We've got
has
this,
a
these
wider
other sessions."
variety of
And then we hit this
power-ups
fucking
and
room,
abilities than
and I
Cell's
am
key
at my
abilities.
limit. I
And,
hate this with all of my being.
I don't know if Metal Sonic could copy Key though. I don't think he would. But let's see.
Time and again, the world and its cuddly forest
We're
critters were
onto
threatened
Metal
by
Sonic.
the evil and oval Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik.
Rotund more
And
like.
time and again, that same world and those same critters were saved by Sonic the Hedgehog. No matter how many robotic badniks the good doctor threw at his blue spiky nemesis,
Prioritized
his schemes
primary
were
game.
always 6 spin jumps to the
video
glowing
games
weak
and
spot
IDW
away from
comics,
getting
so
cracked
not the
and
Archie
scrambled.
comics.
But it wouldn't be over
Archie
easy for
comics.
Eggman. If he couldn't defeat the Blue Blur, he would make his own Metal Sonic.
Well, 0 points on creativity for that name, but god damn, he does look metal as hell.
They
Yeah.
say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, so Eggman built Metal with more than enough blast processing to match his prototype.
Metal
Hate
can
Sonic,
zoom
Sonic,
around
Sonic,
at massively
Sonic,
hypersonic
Sonic,
speeds,
Sonic.
fast enough to fly to nearby planets in seconds.
He's tougher than Eggman's standard equipment, some of which can
Able to
survive
fly
black
to nearby
holes.
planets in
Metal
seconds.
can use all of Sonic's power-ups, and even replicate his classic spin dash and light speed attack.
But he's got moves of his own.
He can attack with energy blast, fire a chest laser, surround himself in an electric aura, or an impenetrable force field.
By overloading his circuitry with energy, Metal can activate V maximum overdrive, quadrupling his acceleration and obliterating anything in his path. at the risk of self-destructing.
You'd think all that'd be enough to turn the rodent into roadkill, but it only took one showdown on Stardust Speedway to send Metal to the scrap heap.
On paper, Metal should be able to outmatch Sonic in every way, and yet he doesn't. For some reason, Eggman wasn't able to capture that ineffable quality that makes Sonic the fastest thing alive. Metal's defeats at the hands of Sonic and his friends sharpened his AI into a seething hatred of his rival and a burning desire to prove himself superior.
Yeah, well, when you're getting your supersized red ass handed to you by Charmy B, you know something's gone horribly wrong.
Metal's defeats gave him an existential crisis. If he was created to surpass Sonic and couldn't even manage that, what was he? Why should he exist?
Yeah.
Never one to admit defeat, Eggman took Metal back to the drawing board and birthed him anew.
This Neo Metal Sonic was, above all, far smarter.
Especially after he copied Eggman's intelligence and took over his empire. And we mean
That's
literally copied. If Metal started as Sonic's copycat, why not hunt all of his furry friends down and copy them too?
Neo Metal Sonic is equipped with scanners in his optic receptors that can copy a person's biodata, giving him the ability to recreate all of their abilities in seconds.
Like the Sonic Boom, Knuckles' Hammer Punch, Tails' magical swiveling asshole, and Big's ability to suck at fishing.
Metal isn't just learning their moves, he can replicate more esoteric powers like Silver Psychokinesis, manufacture Rouge's mechanical bat guards, or alter his very biology to copy Espio's chameleon invisibility. It's worth mentioning that biological data is a real scientific term and can refer to molecular structures like the genome sequence within a living organism's DNA.
Yeah, his copying is so busted, it doesn't really matter that he's a robot made of metal. If you can do it, so can he. Probably helps that he can shapeshift and regenerate his whole body from a puddle.
Likely by copying one of the mightiest beings on the planet,
So
the
that there, what they said, it doesn't matter if, like, what you're able to do is, like, make sense or not. Like, that makes me think maybe he might be able to replicate Ki. But we'll see. But that's something we need to pay attention to.
God of destruction, chaos.
Not the only chaos he's encountered.
By scanning the ultimate life form, Shadow the Hedgehog, he gained his ability to manipulate some of the most powerful artifacts
Chaos
in the universe.
You mean the Chaos Emeralds?
Yes, the emeralds contain an infinite wellspring of mystical power and life energy. With them, Metal can perform Shadow's chaos control. He can teleport, warp, and distort space, boost his speed, and stop time. And with either the Chaos Emeralds or Master Emerald, he can transform into Super Neo Metal Sonic.
Completely invulnerable and completely golden, Super Neo Metal Sonic can move at faster than light speeds and has the power to move continents.
The emeralds are inconceivably powerful. They've been used to fuel Eggman's Death Egg, which could obliterate star systems.
On their own, they can even create and destroy whole universes.
Other super characters like Sonic have battled and defeated beings like the Time Eater, who could destroy multiple dimensions and timelines in seconds. At their peak, 3 super hedgehogs have even fought Solaris, who nearly consumed Sonic's entire multiverse.
So Super Neo Metal Sonic should be just as powerful as any of them, though he's gotta be quick because all that power only lasts a short time.
The road to total domination was nearly at an end. After
Though Metal Sonic should outclass the younger Super Sonic, the classic Super Sonic who fought Time Eater and is capable of matching modern Super Sonic Shadow and Silver after copying biodata. Super Neo Metal Sonic and modern Super Sonic have also fought evenly in Super Sonic.
manipulating Sonic and friends and copying their abilities, Metal eventually combined their biodata with the mighty Egg Fleet and became Metal Overlord.
Complete with missiles, giant crystal projectiles, and the strength to match 3 supersonic heroes all by himself, Overlord is all-time final boss material.
And he knew it. His ego might as well have had its own health bar. Metal's drive to surpass his rival had morphed into the delusional belief that he was the original, and Sonic the loathsome copy.
A copy that Metal had finally outclassed. All the heroes Metal had gathered had to team up to take him down.
He may have stolen their abilities, but Metal never possessed the thing that made the Sonic heroes successful: their friendship and teamwork.
Aw, how cute! Gag. Probably should have added some of those goddamn rails to the final boss fight, because it is impossible to land on those things. Ahem. After getting trashed again, Eggman reprogrammed Metal to purge any bits of rebelliousness from his code.
Metal returned to being the Eggman Army's chief enforcer, always proving invaluable as the Bad Doctor's greatest creation, now completely obedient once again.
I don't know, Wiz. Who knows what's really going on behind those glowing red eyes? Maybe Metal is more cunning than he lets on, and is only biding his time until he can take over again.
Maybe the most powerful thing that Metal copied was the ability to lie.
Ooh. But
Hey, I'm Chad.
yeah, Hey, Chad.
Voice of Boomstick. And if you don't believe me,
But what about now? That's what I thought.
look, the matchup is about to begin and we can't wait for you to see it. But first I want to tell you about a brand new thing coming to the Death Battle store, and it's something you guys have been asking for. Matchup pitches. It's a way to meet with me and Ben, the creators of Death Battle, and pitch us a matchup that you've been wanting to see. Any matchup, any way you like. We'd love to hear from you. This was originally a Kickstarter reward, but due to popular demand, we wanted to keep it going. A lot of episodes of Death Battle that are currently being worked on are because of a pitch. So we want to give each pitch the time it needs, so quantity is limited, so you better act quick. Death Battle pitches are available right now on deathbattle.gg. That's our website that's like a Patreon mixed with some other stuff. And if you're a website member, you get discounts on all of our merch, including the pitch calls. While you're there, make sure you check out the Death Battle Retro Tee. It's a shirt we made like over a decade ago. The first Death Battle shirt, I found the file and recreated it, only on a much nicer shirt. So check that out while you're there. Anyway, let's get to the fight. I know you want to see it, and Boomstick wants to see one of these copycats get copycapped. So here we go, and remember, deathbattle.gg. We want to hear your pitches. Thanks.
But I'm still going with Metal Sonic on this. Sorry, Devil Artemis. Sorry, Cell. But I think there are a lot more factors going into Metal Sonic. The ability. I think as a base, maybe Cell is stronger. But I think Metal Sonic is faster, arguably way more intelligent. And being able to just copy abilities. But I think it also just boils down to whether or not he can copy key techniques. If so, this might be a way more one-sided fight. But if not, Cell might have a chance, but it depends on how, like, his key usage. I don't know. What would happen if Cell ran out of key? I guess we might find out. But that's who I'm going with. I'm locking in for Metal Sonic. If Cell wins, I'll be surprised. But it'll be interesting, and I hope we get a cameo of Kermit. I know they referenced him in what Cell's likes, but I know there's a lot of fun potential for this death battle, and I can't wait to see what happens. So without further ado, let us watch.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Salutations, Dr. Robotnik. Your reputation precedes you. Bring me your strongest fighter, or face... Then prepare to kneel before your master. Perfect.
The music is wonderful. The copy. Cell is dominating, but for how long?
Tell me, does a machine like yourself ever experience fear? Not anymore!
Ooh, that was a good one. Metal Overlord. That looks awesome in 3D.
You're dealing with the ultimate
Ooh,
life
that was
form.
cool how they did that.
Already possesses data. Observe. Chaos. Control. Life form data successfully copied. Scan.
Uh-oh.
It'll take more than that.
Are you going to
kill
use
me.
that?
I know. Now I know everything about you, insect.
Copy himself. See? So he can copy Keith.
Don't you dare.
There's the arena.
I am not just the greatest warrior in the universe. I am all of them. If you are all of them, then so am I.
Ooh.
I'll never lose to a machine like. I'll crush you.
Nice try, Cell.
KO! So, now Metal's got all the powers of the Chaos Emeralds and the Z Fighters? Well, that world's fucked. Our bad.
Yeah.
Cell may have been one of the greatest threats in Dragon Ball Z, but Eggman's greatest creation ultimately proved too much for him. Let's break this down into 4 categories: strength, speed, abilities, and adaptation.
First up, who was the strongest? Well, it's no surprise that any version of Cell was gonna be way more powerful than base Metal or
Yeah.
Neo. Even just using the manga, blowing up a solar system is far beyond the level of power output Metal can match.
Without his stronger forms. With them, the power gap entirely reversed. Not only could Metal match Cell's solar system busting or scaling from Frieza, but he could surpass it with the universe-destroying power of the Emeralds.
But hang on, Wiz. Those Namekians said that Cell was strong enough to threaten a universe on his own.
They did, but they didn't specify how, and there's nothing suggesting he could destroy it in one go, especially since it's only brought up theoretically and without any time frame.
Even being generous
Context
and
is
assuming he could
everything.
just blow it up, final bosses like Time Eater and Solaris can destroy the wider multiverse, and Super Neo Metal would scale to them. Metal Sonic takes the edge in strength,
And with Sonic characters being known for their speed,
Yep.
you might think that was an easy win for Metal.
and his max speed in his super form, he should be comparable to entities like the Time Eater, who in Shadow Generations can destroy entire universes in seconds. By using the radius of the observable universe, we can estimate the Time Eater's destructive wave traveled at about 180 quadrillion times faster than light.
Certainly impressive, but let's compare that to Goku's flight from heaven to hell shortly after the Cell games, which covered roughly a universe in distance at approximately 180 quadrillion times faster than light.
Hey, just like Time Eater. The difference, though, was that Goku was in his base form, way slower than Super Saiyan 2 Gohan or Super Perfect Cell.
Factoring in Super Saiyan multipliers, Super Perfect Cell could move upwards of 100 times faster than that, and so 100 times faster than Metal Sonic. Somehow, Cell takes the edge
Wow.
in speed. You know, the thing Metal was designed for.
Wasn't expecting that. Let's see
No.
if any of their abilities could tip the scales.
They shared many of the same powers, like telekinesis, force fields, and
Yeah,
energy
this one-
projectiles. Of note, though, Cell's regeneration was clearly superior, able to fully heal from a single cluster of microscopic cells.
On top of that, Cell's Saiyan genes would let him grow in power every time he almost died, and his Cell Juniors gave him the numbers advantage.
And considering Super Neo Metal had a time limit, Cell would have a big advantage in a battle of attrition.
But with Chaos Control, that became a lot tougher.
Cell and his juniors engineers had no way to deal with Metal boosting his speed or stopping time, something that countered Cell's speed advantage and left him open. And with Silver's psychokinesis, or the Emerald's spatial distortion, Metal could seriously impair Cell's healing.
So it helped that Cell could fall back on his martial arts abilities in a pinch.
Despite effectively being a newborn, Cell's genetic instincts allowed him to best Earth's most skilled warriors back to back to back.
Metal may have copied Eggman's brains, but he definitely isn't as good of a fighter. The Sonic heroes haven't trained like the Z fighters, and Metal's been beaten by all of them a bunch of times. So all that in mind, abilities is roughly a wash.
Which leaves us with the one thing they're both known for, their capability to evolve and become more powerful in response to their opponents, aka their adaptation.
And frankly, that's where this back and forth completely breaks. Because at the end of the day, Metal can copy Cell, but Cell can't absorb Metal.
Cell's ability to physically absorb an opponent is primarily viable against foes he can match or overpower.
Even if he took Metal by surprise, he can't absorb fully inorganic robots like Android 16.
Cell was only able to absorb Android 17 and 18 because they were primarily organic.
They're actually more like cyborgs and are only called androids in the English translation.
Metal, on the other hand, can copy a target's biodata through only a few seconds of direct eyesight, something he could easily accomplish during a time stop.
And using it on Cell means he wouldn't just get Cell's powers, but the powers of all of the Z Warriors too.
Remember, Metal's copying applies to abilities that fundamentally affect his own biology, like Espio's invincibility or Chaos's liquid body. Nothing Cell has would be off limits, especially given all of Cell's powers were genetically encoded in the first place, quite literally biodata.
Cell's Saiyan power-ups? Copied. Cell's regeneration? Copied. Cell's key techniques? Believe it or not, copied.
Chaos Emeralds are described as being able to produce life energy, similar to Ki, so there's a precedent for him being able to replicate Cell's power set. And at this point, there's nothing stopping Metal from, say, stopping time and using a Kamehameha to vaporize him at a cellular level, just like Gohan did.
Cell might be able to do anything the Z fighters know how to do, but that's not gonna help him, cause Metal can do anything Cell knows how to do. Strange, isn't it?
Cell just doesn't have any options to retaliate that Metal wouldn't also possess, including any of his previous advantages. Metal's copy ability is just that overpowered.
Oh, I guess now I get why they called it Sonic CD.
Why's that?
Cell died. Wiz, you get it? CD? Wiz, where you go? Come on back. Next time on Death Battle.
Okay, next time. I don't know one.
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
Bakugo versus Reese. I don't know them. But that was one very good fight. That was a very good fight, dear viewers. What did you think? Did you enjoy this matchup? Yeah, I kind of figured that Cell Metal would be able to copy Metal would be able to copy Cell, but the fact that they gave Cell the speed advantage, that was something I didn't see coming. So that was definitely a very interesting twist of things. But this was a very good fight, and Cell did put up a good fight. But like they said, it really didn't matter what Cell had at his disposal. The moment Metal Sonic scanned him, it was like just game over. Like, really, what can you do? And you could see there was a moment where I was like, will he be able to copy him because he's moving that fast? And I guess with the power of Chaos Control, to freeze time, that's what gave him that ability. Otherwise, it would have been too tough for him to copy him. But I'll see you next time, dear viewers. Oh, and before I part ways, dear viewer, I've been thinking of doing other reactions into an older show. It's called Deadliest Warrior. Would this be something you guys would like to sit down and watch me do my commentary on these episodes? I've gotten a few of them saved. I've purchased a few of them, and it's definitely one of the shows that helped inspire Death Battle. If that's something you'd like me to look into streaming, please let me know. I'd be happy to take a look at it or rewatch it. But until then, dear viewers, I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Please take care of yourselves and have a wonderful, wonderful evening.